So about a year ago, last summer, we went on a road trip to next state, Connecticut and Rhode Island. And on the way back, we passed. It was a holiday weekend. I believe it was 4th of July weekend. And on the way back, because it's a holiday weekend, we passed tons of police cruisers, tons of police cars. Even though it was mid-pandemic, there was so many police cars along the highway. I made it back home, and the first thing I saw when I came back home, I remember coming home, turning the news on. It's like Sunday afternoon. Very same weekend, a black family in some sort of SUV was pulled over. And the video clip showed, I don't know if it was a police body cam or a cell phone body cam of all these kids. Not all these, it was like 4 kids. The youngest was 6 years old. My daughter was 5 at the time. Same size, looked exactly like my daughter. A black family. And the little girl was handcuffed, like in a hard position on the ground with guns drawn. And it's like 5 officers pointing guns at these kids. And in some parts of the video footage and the clips, you can see one of the officers turn around, and I guess the realization, it was a woman, came to her like, what the hell are we doing? And she puts a gun up and she picks up the kids to have them sit down. And it's midsummer, it's in Colorado, hot pavement, kids laying face down. Youngest is 6 years old. Apparently they were pulled over, not even pulled over, I think they were in a parking lot, coming out the car, and all of a sudden they were surrounded by, SWAT police with guns drawn in them over what they thought was a stolen motorcycle at the time. And it wasn't even a stolen motorcycle, it was an SUV. It was a typo and some sort of miscommunication. And these family literally, I'm gonna say, almost lost their lives, right? If you point a gun at someone, right? And that's the thing, that doesn't get said. You point a gun at someone, that means you intend to kill them, right? There's no if, buts, or maybe, right? If I'm a police officer and I'm pointing a gun at someone, right? It's because I have a reason to that. I think they're armed. I think they might shoot me. I think they might harm me. I'm pointing a gun at someone, I intend to shoot them, right? If I'm a cop and I pull my gun out, it has nothing to do with me. I'm going to shoot you, right? Because I think you're going to shoot me, or I think I'm going to harm someone else. End of story, right? There's no cake. There's no caking about this. My dad used to say, right? You can't prettify the fact that you have a gun pointed at an unarmed 6-year-old laying face down, handcuffed already on the pavement, right? As I was doing that video, I did a video, I think it was this channel. It was this channel. That's like my second or third video on this very channel you're watching. Brian Cashman, New York Yankees general manager, literally the same weekend of same time period, it's like around 4th of July last summer. He was driving his own car, Jeep Cherokee, a Wrangler thing, and he lives in Connecticut, right where we were actually. And he was driving up from Yankee Stadium to Connecticut, and for some weird reason, he called his Jeep was presumably stolen, and he called to file a report that his vehicle was stolen. Wherever he filed, I'm not sure the confusion of that it was, but the point is the cops had pulled him over at a gas station, I believe. In fact, they followed him and they told him to pull over in a gas station, or he pulled over eventually in a gas station. Hands out the window, showed his ID. They didn't even tell him to get out the car. I think only one officer had his hand on his gun, but he immediately put his gun up. He didn't continue pointing the gun at the guy. He put his gun up, right? The minute he saw the guy's hand come out, he put his gun up, right? And proceeded to talk to him, right? And this was a case where the plates matched the vehicle that was reportedly stolen by Cashman, who's driving it back home. I'm not sure if he found it somewhere, but he's driving a reportedly stolen vehicle. And on top of that, there's a man matching his description, bald white guy, with sunglasses or glasses that just robbed a pharmacy or a hospital or flashed a gun somewhere, an armed guy, right? That matched the description. And I remember one of the officers even said, "You look just like this guy that just like shot up a pharmacy or was flashing a gun, literally like a few blocks away. You look just like the guy, right? Guns holstered. Let's talk. What are you doing? What's going on? Who are you? Oh, you're a General Yankees manager. Can I get some tickets?" Friendly conversation. Within the space of this video reaching this point, Cashman was able to go home to his family. Even though his car's reported stolen, an armed suspect matched his description. Same color shirt, skin color, glasses, bald, right? Driving a stolen white SUV. Even the car matched the description of the guy that drove off waving a gun, right? Within the space of this minute, this video, Cashman was home with his family. Laughing, probably joking like, yeah, I gotta, Black family in the parking lot face down. I think they said they were there for a long time, like 40 minutes, 50 minutes, before the police sorted themselves out and realizing and it was a Dodge minivan or Dodge Journey, one of those cheap $5,000 SUVs you could buy used now, right? It wasn't a Maserati, it wasn't a Porsche or Ferrari. They're about to shoot kids over a fucking $5,000 minivan, right? And why would I'm not even gonna get into that, right? So that's black family, white guy, armed and dangerous, driving a stolen car, right? Black family possibly driving a stolen motorcycle that matched an SUV, with kids, handcuffed, guns drawn, almost the same. Watch my video before, same weekend, right? Now that was last year. George Floyd happened. We went through the motions of whenever something like this happens. We go through the motions, America. Then we forget, and then now the weather's getting nice, and it starts up again, right? What I wake up to is Monday morning, April 12th, April 13th, April 12th, whatever. Wake up to the news. Black kid shot, not even 10 blocks away from where George Floyd's, Derek Chauvin's case is being trialed, right? Young black guy shot in a traffic stop, right? I'm not even making this up, right? And yes, the first thing said, the police said they stopped him. He had warrants out for his arrest. Why did you stop this kid, right? Was the car reported stolen? No. Was he matches his description of someone waving a gun around a few blocks away like minutes ago? No. Why did you stop? Because he had those air freshener trees hanging in his rear view mirror. That's why we pulled him over, right? License, whatever. Found out the guy had a warrant out for something or the other. Supposedly, that's all we know now. The kid, he's 20 years old. He's a young guy. Got back in his car for whatever reason. I don't know yet. We don't know the story yet. We're waiting for the police body cam, which probably will come out next year or next summer, right? He got back in his car and the police just shot him as he drove off into traffic or into like someone's yard, right? They shot him. I'm not sure how many times they shot him, but the guy died on the scene. All right. Next thing we saw in Virginia, a military lieutenant, a staff sergeant, whatever the military ranks are, black guy or Hispanic guy or black guy, he looked black, driving his brand new SUV back to the base or back to wherever. He's dressed in the U.S. military outfit, right? Glasses, mustache, black guy, driving his brand new car back, right? Well, I don't know how this escalated, but the video begins with him pulled over in the gas station and guns out of the car. And I guess the poor guy in his own video, he looks super confused. He's like, what's going on here? Right? Now, if the cops pull anyone over like that, of course you'll be scared. You'll be confused. Like, what's going on? What did I do? And I said in my last video, if the police pull innocent people over and they're like confused and guilty people, I just stole an SUV and I pull over in a lit gas station and like, what's going on, guys? What did I do? Like, what's up? Is that what criminals do when you just robbed a brand new SUV, a brand new vehicle? No. High speed pursuit. I've seen them all the time. But why is this like, this guy pulls over in a gas station? Why is he assumed guilty and armed and dangerous? That I have to come, guns drawn, pepper sprayed. Anyway, ended misunderstanding. They did not fit. They were so blind with like racism and rage They didn't see the paper tags in the window of his SUV that they thought he stole, that show he just bought his SUV. And that brings me back to the fact, all these traffic stops have one thing in common, right? Even my video where I was questioned, the police don't believe black people, right? This is my car. What's going on? I'm confused. Like, why are you pulling me over? You know, get out the car. Get out the car. Like, one thing in common, they don't believe black people, right? I'm gonna end my anger with this video that makes me more angry. A friend of mine's looking to buy a motorcycle. I have two friends, best friends. They're both police officers. One is actually in the military. One is a long-time NYPD officer. Both own bikes. My friend owns a Triumph. My other friend owns a Suzuki. And I'm looking to get a BMW bike. So we all talk about bikes and all the time when we go hang out, right? Another friend of mine sent me this video with this guy, this white guy in California or Utah. He does these stunts, right? So he subscribed to the channel, you know, because I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. So he has this video that just came out. I actually saw it on Facebook. It's a compilation of him being pulled over by police. And it's supposed to be like funny, like, and one of the cops, 2 or 3 of the female officers are very beautiful. And it's fun and games. It's funny about him being pulled over. Now, I was like, you know, from the screen grab, the cop looked hot. So I'm like, oh, let me click this and see what's this about. Right? And it's one of those things where you click it thinking it's going to be like one of those prank things. It's actually the guy's girlfriend and he's going to hit on her and pretend she's a cop. But it wasn't. It starts out literally the guy's doing wheelies in a parking lot, which I'm not sure how the jurisdictions work, but some places it's illegal to do that. Some places it's fine, I guess. I don't know. He's doing these wheelies in the parking lot with 2 of his friends. They're waiting to meet up or go meet other guys biking. People call 911, call the cops. Cops show up. They're not in the parking lot anymore, but they're like driving down the road and they pull into a gas station and the cops come into the gas station. And all these things happen in gas stations, right? And which is fine. It's well lit. There's cameras everywhere. If I'm being pulled over, I'd want to be pulled over in a gas station too, because cameras, well lit, witnesses, right? And it's, you know, gasoline there, so you're not going to be flooded with bullets, right? The cops aren't going to be like fire trigger happy at a gas station because they could blow themselves up, right? So it's a fair game, fair ground to be pulled over. If you get pulled over, do it. The guy's on the bike. I'm not even making this up. I gotta link it. He's on the bike. His friends are there. I think he's talking to the cops and he has the camera hidden in his helmet. He doesn't have registration. Doesn't have ID. I'm sorry. He doesn't have any paperwork on the bike, right? And I think one of his friends had driver's license, some didn't. I don't know how it worked, right? The cops are talking to the guy, no guns are out, and these guys are on their bikes. And it's a group of guys on bikes. And it's 2 male cops, and then later on another cop come. And they're just having a conversation. Like, what the fuck? And the guy I don't have paperwork, right? And in a lot of the videos, I guess he does this bike, his tricks or whatever. He doesn't have registration, insurance for the bike, and whatever paperwork you need to say the bike is legally yours, right? He doesn't have any of that. So what he does is, and in some cases he doesn't have a driver's license or any ID on him. Because obviously he's on a bike, he's wearing like the bike outfit, whatever, I don't know how it works. And literally in every case he says, call my dad, I have my dad has the information. And in every instance, the cop is like, oh, okay, fine. And literally in one video, the woman is like, takes her cell phone and calls the guy's dad and like turns her back to the guy. Is talking to his dad. And then she goes, hangs up and she goes, all right, it's fine, you could go. Literally, like if I have to try that at a traffic stop, I'd love to try that and see what happens when the cops pull me over and I don't have insurance, registration, or my driver's license for the car I'm driving to say I own the car or even have proof that I'm able to drive a car. And I'm going to say, you know what, call my dad. My dad has it. He'll tell you all about me and whatever. And see what they do, right? If they don't drag me out the car with a bullet in my head, right? And that's the difference. And obviously the biker guy is white, blonde, you know, California type guy, young, good-looking Brad Pitt kind of guy, right? Call my dad. I don't have any information that says I should be driving a bicycle, or even the bike is mine, a motorcycle is mine. And these aren't cheap bikes he was driving. I mean, one of the videos, the cops is talking about how expensive the bikes are. And so it's not like he's driving a bicycle. It's a motorcycle. It's not like a normal, like a Vespa or a scooter. It's one of those fancy motorcycles for stunts and racing, right? And a black family in Colorado gets pulled over, guns drawn, handcuffs, because the police thinks they're driving a stolen motorcycle. And the mom had a license and registration and everything for the car, and had to face down on the pavement for over 30 minutes with guns on their kids. This is America, right? And I have lots of Republican friends and lots of friends that refuse to pull their heads out the sand and see what it is for what it is. And back then, I didn't understand the defund the police movement, and I made a video about it, and then I slowly understood what it meant for law enforcement officers, right? What it meant for someone. If I work in an office, right, and the water cooler is always broken, the coffee machine isn't working, the heat doesn't come on, the AC isn't working, right? But maybe the company's spending a lot of money on paper for the printer, or toner for the printer. We're spending billions of dollars on toner printer, but the heat and the AC isn't working. And I go to a meeting, a board meeting, or a company meeting. And one of the things we have all this paper, but we have no heat, or the coffee machine, the water machine, none of that works. Why don't we not buy paper for a month or 2 months or a year or a couple of years, and invest in all this other stuff in our office to make our work experience better? And that's what defund the police means. It's stop buying bullets and tanks and all that and crap, and put the money into technology, education for police officers, right? Not every black guy driving a new car means he just stole it, right? Not every black guy that doesn't pull over right away in the dark of night on the highway and decides to pull over a mile down the road in a gas station is eluding traffic or dangerous, right? Right? Not every black guy searching through their glove box from the passenger side is stealing that car or robbing that car, right? And that's why I'm going to support that movement going forward. It needs to be done. It improves the workplace for officers as well, and it makes citizens like myself, feel safer, right? And Derek Chauvin, the trial is going on right now. The guy knelt on someone's neck for almost 10 minutes, and they have like a dozen expert witnesses on heart palpitations, breathing, lungs. I don't know. I guess they need every expert to call it for what it is, you know? It's just frustrating. That's why, and I hate doing these videos, and I feel like, I know Marcus Brownlee and all these other YouTubers do cell phone review videos, right? And maybe once or twice a year as iPhone 14 drops, or a new Samsung Galaxy or Note drops, right? So twice a year, 3 times a year occurrence that these guys will make a video and get millions and trillions of views reviewing an iPhone 14 or 15 and telling you how if it breaks when you drop it. Nonsense, garbage, right? They should make videos on this stuff, right? Because it won't be a once or twice a year occurrence of an iPhone drop or a Galaxy phone, debut. It'll be like every week it's some sort of garbage news about the same nonsense, right? If those YouTubers made videos like this, they'll have more subscribers already. They have millions. They'll have a lot more subscribers, because this is like hot content every week is something new.